Hello, everybody, and welcome to my workshop again. Uh, I've been busy over the last few weeks making stuff for Christmas, and I haven't got a chance to put a video up. So today I came out and I thought I would do this wee project. It's This is the blank I'm going to use. It's a piece of American cherry. Uh, I just run the tape over it. It's 100 mil wide by about 75 mil deep. So what I thought I would make would be a wee box out of it. So I have found the center of it on both sides. I'm just going to put it between the centers for now. They get uh, a spigot on it so I can put it in the chuck. So that's what we'll do today. I don't think it is cold today, but it's still cold enough. So I'm just going to move that camera down and you can see what I'm doing. So that's roughly center. Because this is not a true round piece of wood, you're it'll give you a rough idea of where the center is. So that's good enough. Da, 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 da. Right, that's that. So I will stop that and check that.
Okay guys, I'm sitting editing this video and I was just checking the microphone was working okay, but as you can see there is no sound on the second start of this video. But good news, it does come a wee way down through the video. So I'm just going to explain what I'm doing here. I've got it in between centers and I'm just going to turn it round to level it up a bit, and then I'll be putting two spigots onto it, one on either side, one for the lid and one for the box itself. So again, you make sure everything's fastened and it's turn the speed down as you start the lathe. I think I had the lathe running about 1,000 RPMs there. So just whatever you're comfortable at turning, and we just want to true this up. I'm not taking a whole lot of timber away from it. I want to keep it to more or less the size it is, and more or less taking the wax off and just refining the shape of it, because any shaping you can do later on as you get the two pieces together and true them together. I've never done a voiceover before, and this could be a learning curve again. So we're just checking it for roundness, and there's still a wee bit of wax on it, so it's still not round. And we'll continue on. a wee bit more of that, and it'll be more or less where I want it to be. Right, that should more or less do that, I hope. Just that wee one, that wee bit. But we'll just straighten that as well. And that's perfect. Right, that's that part done. So we want to put a spigot on both ends and just marking the depth I want the lid at. That's where it's going to be separated, and we'll just mark that with a parting tool. Uh, it's entirely up to yourselves what size you make your lid from the base. Right, so we're going to put a spigot on this end. This will be the lid. And I'm just looking here on the video. We won't have too much more of me talking over, because I think the video is going to go back into sound again. I don't know, understand why this happened. Uh, that's the first time it's happened. So we have a spigot on that side, and what I've done is put a small dovetail on it to coincide with my chuck jaws, so that when it locks around it, it's locked in. Uh, your jaws might be straight, or they might be dovetails, whatever you have, it doesn't matter. Use one or the other. The dovetail is a better grab because it grabs it more. Uh, so we are going to put a second spigot point on the bottom part, and hopefully I won't be talking too much more over this, because yeah, it's a good practice to have your size of your jaws uh, measured, because if you over size your piece to fit in your jaws and open them fully out, what happens is the jaws themselves are not totally clamped around the piece. It's only resting on the points of each jaw, which is no good. So you want to measure your jaws, and the best way to do that is close your jaws totally and then open them about 3-4 mil, and take a measurement from there.
The jaw just change that to the overhead there. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to use this pattern beading tool to do that. Just cleaning the face of that up, and again with the part or your skew chisel, because that chisel has an angle on it the way it is here. If you put it to your piece, it'll give you that wee angle you need to put on for your dovetail. So we have this marked out, two spigots in each end, or one spigot in each end, sorry. This is going to be the lid, so we now are going to cut the lid off. Just making a wee relief cut for the width of the parting tool. You don't want to go in just with it tight like that, because you'll start to burn the wood and it'll bind up. And I think that's ready to come off. Right, let's see. There we have our lid, and then we have our base. Now, when you get it to this stage, it's up. Well, we'll laser engrave the top of this lid later. So you want to determine the shoulder on here for the fit your. If you're going to fit the lid over the shoulder, or is the lid part going to be fitting into that? So I find the best way is to do it like this. Have a nice shoulder there, and then your lid, you can cut that out to fit around that, and then the lid's fitting onto the box. So it's entirely up to you what way you want to do it. There's no right and wrong way of doing it. It's just whether you find that it works for you. So the shape of the box itself, you can have it straight like that there, or you can put a slight bevel on it, or whatever you fancy, you know. It's so we'll just get the roughing guys again and turn this speed up and just true this up a wee bit more. And I'm using my finger along the back of the tool rest to give me my depth. And just lifting this arm slightly to get a cut. So you only want to take the dust off it, you know. So that looks okay. You can run a flat edge ruler across the face of it to check that it's nice and flat. There's no dips in it, which there's not. So I'm not going to do any more to that at this time. I'm going to take the inside of this out. So we'll just turn the tool rest around. move our banjo over and set that out of the way. And variety of tools you can use to do this. You can use an ordinary spindle tool, spindle gouge. You can see by the size what the flute left in this one. I have near it wore out. It's funny, when the tool gets down to these sizes here, they're far more comfortable to work with. And rather than use a brand new or a bigger one, you know, a more fluid on it, uh, I always seem to go to the smallest one because it you've been using it for years and it's far easier to use. So that's the saying. You can do this a variety of ways. First, you want to mark the wall thickness of your box on the inside. So we want to keep it somewhere there. Okay. You don't want to go too thin in the wall because you might have change your mind. You want to do a slight bevel on the back of this, so that leaves you a wee bit of room to do that. And good practice to make that first initial cut there. It takes you away from the edge of this, and it gives your tool somewhere to start from. You know, because it's very easy to skate back, and before you know it, you're taking a big lump out of that piece. You know. You can use a bowl gouge to do this if you wish. I'll just turn that back to the. I can transfer the depth from that to the outside of my box, which is there. So that's saying good, just under half an inch before I'm in the bottom. So you have to be very careful. So I'm going to straighten the walls down in this a wee bit while I have the chance. Because the more timber you take from the inside of a piece, it sort of releases the piece of timber. Not so much in this piece because it's not big, but if you're doing a bigger bowl, you would want to bring your sides down as you go. And because you further into your bowl you get, you will get vibration and you might find it hard to get back to the cut to take more off the top of it. So a wee tip, just take it all down together. Then you won't have to go back over again. And if you want to check your depth, get your calipers and just check the outside of this. Right, that's the outside of that, and it goes down and it's nice and tight. There's no sloppiness in the outside. What I tend to do is hold that tight to the inside of the wall and then look at the outside, and if you see any daylight, you know you've went deeper. But that's looking parallel, so that's where I want to keep that, and then there's no wee bulges in it. It's nice and flat. We'll just I'm just going to use the skew here to run one final pass over. I'm just using that point here to clean it up. Okay, that'll do that. That's it ready for sanding. So we'll take the rest of this timber out. I'm just putting a wee hole there with that tool to see where my depth is now. Where's my line? I still have a good bit yet. So what you don't want to do is leave it too heavy on the bottom, and the other thing is you don't want to go through the bottom. It's very important that you do that. So I've just taken another wee bit out of that. I'll stop that and engage that into it and see where it is. Right, that's as far as I want to go with that. So you can now
here and to see how far it goes. And I think it's moving freely and there's no gaps, so it's nice and straight. And it's as far as I want to go down, I think, at this stage. Uh, just to clean up the bottom here, and I think I'll use the small round nose scraper. You can use whatever tool you're happy with. I like to use the wee round nose scraper in the bottom of boxes, just to give the bottom of the box, instead of being just flat, I like to put a sort of a wee dish in it. Not a whole lot, just a wee bit. Uh, that means when you go to pick stuff up out of the bottom of it, it's sort of, you can get at it better than it would be if it was flat. So a couple of wee glances across with the scraper, and that's all that needs. So it'll be down to the sanding. I'm not going to bore you with all the sanding of it. Uh, I'll do that off camera. Bring you back when more or less I have it all sanded and ready to move on to the next stage. So we'll stop it there, and we'll carry on later when I bring you back. So this is not going great. I'm just touching up the top of the rim of the box for our lid to go round. On the outside of the rim, you want it to be nice and straight and crisp, clean cut down to the bottom where the two join. So you can see there I'm just running the screw chisel across the face of the lid, or the bottom of the box. So we're going to sand that, and that'll be done off camera, and I'll bring you back when that part's done.
to fit on. You don't want it too tight and you don't want it too loose. Just just nice. Now I've made that on the tight side so that if I need to take a wee bit off, I can do so. But if you take very little, if you take too much off, then you run into a problem of you can't put it back on. Now, with using your calipers, you only engage one, which is this one, or sorry, you line it up and then let that one bite a wee bit, and with the other one, you just see where to landing, and you can see it's more or less in line with it. So that's you can't see it in that camera, Paul. I'll just not.
Right. Apparently we're back into the silent mode again. Uh, it is to do with me changing the cameras over to 2 points, seeing both pictures. That's down to me and another mistake I made. So what you can see I'm doing here, is putting a couple of relief cuts into the top of the lid so I can start to take some of this timber away. And by putting that relief cut in before I put the spindle gouge in means that I won't skate back and take a lump out of the actual lid. The best way to fit the lid to the box is to go make it tight and then using the skew and the large side with the point, just gradually take your sides down a wee bit at a time until you get the lid of the box onto the base. And it should have taken 5 or 6 goes. That's okay, it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day you want the lid and box to fit together with not too much resistance. It's better doing it this way because if you take too much, then you have to start again because you can't put it back on, you know. So just be patient with it and get a nice enough fit for the lid to go on. I think it's very close at this stage. It shouldn't take too much more to let that on. And once you've got that to your fit, and then you can continue with the inside of the lid. So I'm taking another wee bit off that. I think it's at this stage it does fit on this time. I might be wrong. As you see, I'm just touching it and no more, and just to get the fit right. Still a wee bit. I'm getting close. Usually when you're that close to it, the last cut, usually that's where you make a mistake and take too much off. That's why you should just take your time and let it gradually get there. Because you put all this work into it and just lapse your concentration what you're doing can be very costly to what you're making. And I can see what I'm talking about here is when I know the box and the lid are going to go together, I'm just taking that wee bit extra off towards the bottom flat part of the lid so that when you put your lid and box together, the two fit snugly without bottoming out in the corner. That's where I'm using the skew chisel to take that wee bit in the corner out. You can see there's not a lot I'm taking off here, it's just dust and more, no more. And sometimes that's just that wee bit it's holding it from going together. I think it's near almost there. It's grabbing at this stage, but it's just that, not quite there. And I guess is the last cut I take off it, and then it's a fit. Just not quite there. I just a wee bit more. That's what you say to yourself every time you're turning the bowl. Just a wee bit more, and then the unthinkable happens, and you end up going through the bottom. Uh, I'll have to confess I've been there and done that. Right, that fits now. So that's just a matter of cleaning the bottom of this up now and sanding it and putting the finish on it. Okay, I've finished taking the inside of the lid out, and I've sanded it, and I'm just putting just a sand sealer on it now. And some Yorkshire grit, and just to tidy it up a wee bit for any wee fine lines. Yorkshire grit, to those that don't know what it is, it's an abrasive paste, and it's not a finish. It's an abrasive paste, and it doesn't take big scratches out, just wee fine, very fine lines, and just work it into the wood. The more you work at it, the finer and finer the grit gets, and you must remove any residue that is left on, and you keep taking it off with a clean piece of towel, and when it's all off you'll see there's no transfer onto the paper. At that stage you can put your finish on. I'm just folding the paper here to get a clean spot and check it's all off, and then I will put the wax on. And just slow to lay it down a wee bit. So that's the wax on. So we'll just buff that up, and that'll be the lid and the base made. So the next part of the process will be putting the two together and uh, so right, we have the bottom piece of the box in the chuck, and using the tail stock uh, to hold the lid onto the box, we can true the two of them together and finish the sanding of that on the outside. There isn't an awful lot to take off, it's just to true up with the two surfaces so that they both come together uh, nicely where the transition point is. And it'll just be down to sanding then. So right, I finished the sanding. I'm just applying some sanded sealer to the outside of the box. And again some Yorkshire grit. Just buff it into the surface and making sure you take any residue off before you put your final finish on. So we now have finished the outside. I am going to wrap some masking tape around the outside of the box to hold the lid to the base to allow me to turn the spigot off the lid of the box. Other way of doing this is to put a set of coal jaws on, or make a Jacob's chuck for the lid to fit onto. It's a number of there are different options you can approach to do this, but I find that a bit of tape will more than suffice to hold that on while I took it away. Just keeping in mind this is tape that's holding this in place, so we light cuts and just nibble away at the timber until you get it more or less off. After we get this down to the flat, it'll more or less just sanding off the piece. As you can see, I'm just taking my time here and just gradually remove it. You can also decide what you're going to do with the top of the box. As I'm going to engrave this, I want to remove the whole piece of this and make it one flat surface. and just check the tape is still intact, and finish removing the remainder of the spigot. Okay, so I've removed the final piece of the timber off the top of the box, and I've sanded it, and I'm just about to put some sand and sealer on it. You may be asking yourselves, surely if you're going to engrave that, you don't want to put any finish on it at all. You could be right, but I've done a couple of wee boxes and I've put finish on them, and it hasn't made any difference to it so far. What you have to remember when you engrave something into that, the timber, is that it produces like a soot with burning it, and I find with putting the finish on, it stops the soot from discolouring the actual timber, and then it won't go into the grain of the wood. I thought the same thing at the start before the laser went onto it. I wondered what it react to or go on fire, because it's cellulose thinners and it's very flammable, and stuff like that there. But it ended up it was okay. So I have tested it out, and it is safe to use. uh, so I'm just putting a wee taste of wax on here to finish the lid, and that'll be the lid finished. So we're removing the box from the chuck, and on certain pieces you can use the outside of the actual chuck itself to hold a piece. The only thing you have to remember is that it's friction, it's holding it on, and I'm just going to start the lathe here to see how it's turning before I put on the tape on it, and you can see it's wobbling quite a bit, so it's not seated right. So just a matter of loosening it up and just pinch it up very easily and gentle with it, because it's in expansion. What can happen is you hear a big crack, and that didn't go on very well there. Start again, Paul. It just wasn't tight enough. So if you're going to use this method of holding it, you just have to be very careful when you're tightening the jaw to expand into the box. And then when you've got it there, you can wrap a bit of masking tape around it just to hold it in place while you take the bottom of the box off, or the spigot off the box off. You could do this another way. You could put your cool jaws on it, on the lathe, and put it into those. Again, you can turn what do you call it, a Jacob's chuck and fit the box onto it to remove that. Uh, there's so many different ways you can, you know, that you can do this procedure. Uh, it's whatever you are comfortable doing. I've done this many times, and it always had been successful, and it's worked out fine for me. Uh, all we're going to do is take the rest of this off and sand it and put the finish on it, and it'll be over to the laser to engrave the lid of the box. So I'm not going to bother too much more with the sanding of this, because that's all I'm going to do. Sand the bottom of this, take it off, and give the inside of the box a wee wipe where it's been holding on to the inside of the jaws there, just to make sure there's no marks and stuff. And then it'll be over to the laser to engrave whatever I'm going to put on it.
Hi guys, I forgot to put the video on record, but I'm started anyway, so I just thought I would open the lid of the box here, let you see a bit of the engraving. It's going to be a Christmas box for my wife, and it says faith on the front of it. As you can see, it's almost finished. It's just coming to the last piece of the cross. It goes through the word. So I'll just set that, let that finish that, and Right, I'll just have a wee look at that. And I don't want a movement. Uh, I think that's fine. The wee bits you can see, it's actually part of the drawing. It hasn't missed them. It's just the way the image is, you know. So that's the engraving part of it, and that's it finished. Uh, I'll just bring you round to me. Oh, and your fail there. Anyway, guys, as you can see, that's the wee box finished, and it turned out quite well. The wee Christmas box for the wife. So, uh, all in all, that was a nice wee bit of turning and a wee bit of engraving onto the box. And please, if you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel. It'll help me get some numbers up, and and, he, uh, and it means that you'll be notified when I put in our video up. So I will get this up soon, and I hope you all have a lovely Christmas and a happy New Year to you. If I don't get up to make another video before the New Year, which it's probably I'll be out here Christmas Day doing something. I don't like sitting about too much over Christmas. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Okay, bye.